I'd spent years working night security, boring jobs, empty buildings, nothing ever happening. But I never imagined a single night could nearly cost me my life. It started when I saw an ad for a night guard at a massive shipping warehouse on the outskirts of town. The pay was higher than anything I'd earned before, and the hours, 11 p.m. to 7 a.m., sounded perfect. I thought it would be an easy night, but I was wrong. Mr. Landry, the warehouse manager, called me in that same afternoon. The interview was rushed. He handed me a key and a flashlight and muttered almost to himself, "Most people don't last a week here. Just follow the rules." I didn't ask what he meant. I needed the money. When I arrived that night, the warehouse was enormous and dead silent. Endless aisles of crates stretched into the darkness, forklifts sat idle, and the hum of distant machines echoed like the place was breathing. My stomach twisted as I stepped inside. I began my first patrol. The floorboards creaked beneath my boots. Dust coated everything. Shadows twisted around corners as my flashlight swept the aisles. Then, leaning against a steel column, I saw a man in dusty overalls. "I'm the night cleaner," he said, voice low. "Follow the rules. That's the only way you'll make it." He handed me a crumpled sheet of paper. Only 2 rules were written on it. Rule 1, never open crates marked with red tape after midnight. Rule 2, if you hear whispers between the aisles, keep moving, do not investigate. He gave me a serious look, then vanished into the shadows. Just after midnight, I started my patrol. Everything felt alive. Every distant hum, every squeak of metal made me jump. Between 2 aisles, I heard faint whispering. My pulse quickened. I remembered Rule 2 and forced myself to keep walking, refusing to look. By 1 a.m., I reached a row of red-taped crates. A soft creak came from one of them. My hand hovered near the handle. Rule 1 flashed through my mind. I stepped back and bolted down the aisle, heart hammering. An hour later, I passed a forklift slightly askew in the main aisle. Its engine hummed faintly, though it hadn't been started. That's when the 3rd rule appeared on the sheet the cleaner had handed me earlier, scribbled faintly at the bottom. Rule 3, if a forklift moves on its own, leave the area immediately. I forced myself past it, keeping a safe distance. Shadows seemed to stretch longer than they should, brushing my peripheral vision. I didn't dare stop. By 2:15 a.m., I heard a soft giggle echo from a far corner. Childlike, innocent, yet wrong. I shivered. Another rule I hadn't noticed before it appeared at the bottom of the paper. Rule 4, never approach sounds of laughter coming from the crates. I hurried through the aisles, weaving past stacks that seemed taller in the dim light. The warehouse felt alive, shrinking around me, every shadow a potential threat. When I reached the 2nd floor office at 2:45, curiosity gnawed at me. I remembered a new rule scribbled faintly at the bottom. Rule 5, never check the old office on the 2nd floor after 3 a.m. I ignored it. The door creaked as I opened it slightly. Empty, but then the lights flickered violently. A figure crouched in the corner. I slammed the door and ran. My heartbeat was deafening. By 3:15, I had to pass the east loading docks. My flashlight caught a tall, spindly figure gliding toward the shuttered doors. Rule 6, avoid the loading docks entirely after 2 a.m. I had read that earlier, but seeing it in motion made my blood run cold. Its limbs twisted impossibly, jerking unnaturally as it advanced. I doubled back, refusing to look. At 3:45, footsteps echoed behind me. Soft, deliberate, scraping across the concrete floor. Shadows twisted between the crates, moving closer. Another rule appeared on my crumpled sheet. Rule 7. Do not follow moving shadows. They are not human. I gripped my flashlight like a lifeline and forced myself to continue. Every sense screamed that something was watching, waiting for me to break a rule. By 4:20, my watch said 4:20, but the aisles felt endless. Somewhere a crate fell over. A new rule had appeared in handwriting I hadn't noticed before. Rule 8. If a crate falls without cause, move back immediately. I barely made it past, my hands shaking, flashlight flickering. Whispers grew louder, layered, coming from all directions. I forced myself to keep moving. At 5 a.m., I passed cracked mirrors near the shipping elevators. The faint reflection of myself shimmered strangely. I glanced again, and behind me a pale figure mimicked every movement. Rule 9. Never look into the cracked mirrors. I spun around, empty. My hands clutched the flashlight like a shield. By 6:15, the ceiling lights flickered violently. Forklifts groaned, moving slightly on their own. Shadows writhed at the edges of my vision. A sudden realization hit me, the last rule. Rule 10. Never stay in one aisle for more than 5 minutes. I had been lingering too long, caught in fear, frozen. I bolted for the main office, obeying every rule I'd learned the hard way. At 6:50, my shift was almost over. Mr. Landry appeared outside the office, smiling faintly. "Rough night?" he asked casually. I swallowed hard. "What about the cleaner? The one who gave me the rules?" He frowned. "Cleaner? No one works nights but you." I handed him the keys and walked out without another word. The warehouse wasn't empty. Something lived there, moving when it shouldn't, punishing anyone who broke the rules. I've never worked a night shift again.